Hey, welcome to Butcher Bay Rejects. I'm Mark.
I'm Greg. How do you do, nerds, in 2022?
Yeah, welcome to our...
sir?
Yes, sir. Welcome to our first podcast of the new year.
Yes, and in about 2 weeks' time will be our actual 1-year anniversary of Butcher Bay Rejects. We made it. We lasted. Everyone said we crumble, but we're still here.
Absolutely.
Crumble due to infighting or whatnot.
Yeah, wrong. For sure. And good way to end the year. We had some good stuff this week.
Yeah, we're going to cover Dexter New Blood and Fair Game, and of course we got one I've been waiting for, the Book of Boba Fett on Disney Plus, a show which you undoubtedly binged the second it came on, Cobra Kai Season 4, and we're going to cover the movie on Amazon Prime, Being the Ricardos, starring Nicole Kidman and Javier Bardem. So let's jump in with some Dexter Unfair Game, shall we?
Yes, sir.
So Dexter, finds himself on the other end of someone hunting him, I guess. So that shoes are in the other foot now. So he's bound and trying to get away from Caldwell's henchmen. And so it's a bit of a cat and mouse, I thought, right? That first half of the episode. Yeah,
pretty much. And I mean, and of course, it's the situation is heightened because he needs to get to Harrison. So there's.
Like, who's in the clutches of Caldwell. So.
Yeah, I don't have time for this kind of shit,
Yeah, really doesn't. And the guy hunting him kind of has a high-powered rifle, too, there. So, and it looks like he's a hunter himself because he didn't fall for Dexter's trick of walking backwards in his footprints and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
it's
going to take
a bit
of time. Yeah. Going to take a bit of time. But that was, so for the most part, that first half was basically, just the cat and mouse hiding. And then, of course, Dexter hides behind a mirror while Caldwell's looking at his Joker smile that Dexter gave him there. Why so serious?
That was really well done. That was really well done. I mean, like you say, he's used to being the predator, right? So now he needed to find an environment to flip the script, because out in the open, he's got all the disadvantages, but in there, well, okay. And he says, you brought a knife to a gunfight. I'm like, well, he's good with a knife, so.
Yeah. Can even take off his ties with the titanium rod from Caldwell's dead son, right? So he's very resourceful.
Yeah. So no, this thing, and all the while Caldwell is sweet talking Harrison.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not sure. I was kind of curious where the let's go break into the high school. Well, break in. I know he had the key, but let's do some batting practice. I don't know if he was trying. Well,
that was he was trying to lull him into a sense of being comfortable, having a quote-unquote parent figure or a better parent figure than what Dexter was, and trying to lull him in. And I mean, by the end of the episode, you kind of got a sense that Caldwell knew Dexter had taken his son out, so they're kind of like, because I want him to watch this, so
which still was a leap for me, but okay, I'll play along.
Yeah. So the whole thing is a setup. It's a complete setup, right? He's trying to show Harrison, hey, this is what a dad really does. Show, what, your father never taught you how to hit a baseball? Come on, here, let's do this, And the sort of like that I guess you could say Breaking Bad, by breaking into the high school, and he's like, I've got a key, makes it all that much more like, oh, he's doing that for me, okay, and they get into all that. So I think that's all just it's all lip service from Caldwell to make Harrison trust him. Even like when they got to the cottage, here, you deserve a scotch, So,
and happening at the other time, we see Angela doing some Google searching about the Bay Harbor Butcher, even doing a very broad Google search of ketamine plus Miami.
Yeah.
That was like, yikes. Okay. But so I'm curious, like I'm sure a call to Batista will be placed at one point, or he'll come back into another scene, or maybe she'll just place a phone call like, hey, what do you think about this theory? But again, I think we only have 2 episodes left, so it's coming to its denouement.
Is this going to be like a one and done, or are they looking at another season?
Well, no, I think it's one and done. I think everyone, this is no spoiler alert, I think everyone's expecting Dexter to die. Like I said, to me, this has always been an apology for the botched finale, but I'm guessing Harrison could, if he survives, could be continuing on if Showtime wanted to at one point, right? Revive the franchise. So to speak.
That's just it. You're looking at a kind of continuation in some sort of way. The next generation, there. So to speak.
Yeah, I mean they took 10 years for this, so who knows? Maybe they're not making any announcements yet, but. If Harrison comes out alive, then they give it one of those endings where will he, won't he? Then for sure they could revisit it.
Yeah, true. But no, I think like you said, we're heading for that Godzilla Mothra monster showdown.
Yeah.
Now that Caldwell's disappeared into the woods, of course. There's still no proof of wrongdoing on Caldwell's side other than Dexter and Harrison's word, right? And now,
what do you mean?
Well, Caldwell, there's still no proof of Caldwell's wrongdoing.
In terms of what?
In terms of Dexter going to the sheriff and saying, "Hey, he did this," and where's your proof? Well, Harrison saw it, so there's still their word against his kind of thing.
So you're saying the audience knows he did it, but you're saying in terms of the show, there's no physical proof.
Exactly. So they're so it's still Caldwell kind of being the popular guy in town, so to speak.
Okay.
So.
All right then. Well,
and Dexter opening up at the end saying, "I'm going to tell you everything," and then getting the giant-sized hug. So it makes you wonder. Okay, is the next episode a training episode?
Well, it's going to be a quick montage again because there's only 2 episodes left. So we'll have something more for you next week.
Let's hope so.
I've been chomping at the bit to move on to Book of Boba Fett. You will recall when he was first introduced in The Mandalorian for about 36 years, I was saying he's still alive, he's still alive, still alive. So I was pretty smug when I turned out to be right. So what did this show give us in the first opening moments? This was the scene I've been waiting for 36 years. And it delivered. Oh boy, I didn't think they would show it in the first episode. Opens up in the pit of the Sarlacc where Boba Fett found himself at the end of Return of the Jedi. So were you stoked for that scene, or you never really were you one of those people that thought Boba Fett had died when he went in there? When he so comically Harrison Ford, hit the gaffy stick. I mean, did you care, or were you like, he's dead?
Not really. I'm not as invested in the Star Wars aspect of that.
But you realize for fanatics like us, this is a huge moment, right?
Oh, absolutely.
To get this scene.
No, I understood the gravity of the scene when I saw it. It's he's crawling out of the pit, and it
wasn't. Well, I imagine him coming out of the mouth, but of course, a stormtrooper was in there. He took the oxygen from the stormtrooper. I get it, but there were numerous people, on the sail barge fighting that day that fell in there. I would have hoped for, one of those characters, but I guess, okay.
None of them would be carrying oxygen.
Yeah, exactly, but. Still, don't get me wrong. I'm glad for this scene. I thought they were gonna hold that back till like the 4th episode. So nope, they went right for the jugular, and then of course, we see that because of the result of the Sarlacc, we're guessing he has to constantly be in the bacta fluid, right, to rejuvenate or whatever. Mm-hmm. I guess we'll know more about that, and he's becoming the daimyo of Mos Espa. We had nice flashbacks to the the later series where he's picturing himself on Camino, and we see young Daniel Logan playing young Boba Fett holding the head of Jango. So I think that was a nice touch.
I think we're gonna have a lot of back and forth because that's the one thing that, and especially in some of the documentaries that have come out recently and such, you don't know a whole lot about him, and the prequels hinted to him. They hinted that he was, about his father being the original, I guess you could say, blueprint for stormtroopers and such like that. But you never really got to see from young Boba to, basically to Empire, right? You don't see any of that. So I think we're going to be revisiting a little bit of that, how he made his bones, how he became that good at what he does, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Because
go ahead.
Think about it. Like, he was a kid, right, when his father died. So who taught him to be a bounty hunter? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and they're also going from what happened in Mandalorian. We're finding that against his wishes, Boba Fett spent some time with the Tusken Raiders. Of course, this is the first time we're even given a glimpse into their lifestyle. There's never, and I checked this with our mutual friend, I won't say his name, but there's never ever been shown a Tusken Raider chieftain before, the black robe and all that. So that was kind of cool. That, and of course we see, everyone's saying this in a nod to Princess Leia's only famous kill when she strangled Jabba the Hutt with a chain. We see the same thing at the end of this episode, where we see how Boba Fett earns his freedom kind of by saving the son of, I guess, the chieftain. And again, I didn't care for that monster. I don't know if you did. that monster, it's only credited as Sand Monster, looks something out of Ray Harryhausen. That monster should have been in Jason and the Argonauts, okay?
That's exactly what I thought when I saw
Gorgo or Gorgon from Mortal Kombat, but I'm like, okay, but whatever. But I think that was an homage to Leia killing Jabba, that whole chain around.
Probably.
And if it's true, it's a nice nod, but...
Well, I mean, you know what? It's all nodding to Boba being tough, right? He's hard to kill. He's he's obviously had a struggled life, and which made him just as tough as anything. He crawled out of the Sarlacc and was like, okay, that didn't finish me. Well, he's obviously in dire need of moisturizer by the end of that.
Yeah. Well, he's also kind of I think a new Boba, because he doesn't want to rule by fear like Jabba the Hutt did. He says, I want to rule by respect. But everyone's like, you're in Mos Espa, I don't know. And of course, they're only credited as Nightwind assassins, but those black robe guys there with the shields that surround them were assassins sent by the mayor. Who knows? Everyone wants to kill him, right?
That's the one thing that we're starting to see more of, and that we really didn't get a taste of or a sense of in previous things, is life on Tatooine, right? You got a little bit of it in the prequels, but not really the underbelly or underworld of it. We knew Jabba was the head honcho and the typical gangster kind of thing.
Yeah, and Mos Espa, if you recall, is where young Annie grew up.
Yeah, so there's we're discovering a whole new world here. Filoni and Favreau are really, really painting an interesting palette.
Yeah.
Of okay, now we get to play with all kinds of new characters with this. See, we're all used to like Jabba and the pig guards and that sort of thing, and the cantina, and that's what we know. Now we're getting into okay, well, now we have different sects. The Sand People are showing to be one. They are, well, in certain instances they're real pricks, and two, they're savage, but they still have a tribe of thing, and they're warriors as well, versus just I guess you could say the scavengers that
and
people used to be painted as.
Yeah, without any talking whatsoever, the chieftain sees through I don't know if it's his son. His son came back bragging like he killed the creature. He knows it was Boba and just offers him water, without even saying a word. Like, okay, we know you did it.
Just hands off the cup, not even looking at him, going, yeah, right. you earned it. So I think we're going to see a lot. I think they get to really play more with these characters and flesh out these characters that we've only seen on the surface. So, like, the Tusken Raiders, we've only seen one aspect of it. They're savage. They live out. They're nomads and whatnot. But now we see there's a much greater structure to their environment, right? Yes, they are savage, but they have a hierarchy. They have a structure, and they're fighters. So there's something interesting in all that. And now, again, and did you recognize her as Jennifer Beals?
Yes, no, but I knew she was in it, for a while, and she wasn't told what she was auditioning for. She wasn't even told what scene. She didn't know if it was the Mandalorian.
Because I saw her come in, I'm like, hot, and then Jennifer Beals, I'm like, what?
Yeah, I knew right. Yeah, well, I was going to ask you if you looked at the credits, because in the beginning, I don't know if you noticed the Trandoshan, the Bosk-looking guy, which is a creature Bosk, another bounty hunter, was played by Robert Rodriguez, who directed the episode.
Oh, really?
And as Boba Fett says, I used to work for that guy. Awkward, and Fennec Shan's like, I think it's more awkward for him. And this is going way back into lore, but everyone believes was holding a Wookiee pelt, because Trandoshans famously hunt Wookiees. They're known for that.
Okay.
And of course, Boba Fett, it's always said he had some Wookiee scalps hanging from his belt. They're on earlier action figures and whatnot. But also, I want to talk about, where is the gym on Mos Espa that these two Gamorrean guards are going to? Like, they look like they're on a keto diet and they're doing CrossFit. Did you notice the big change in the Gamorrean guards from Return of the Jedi? A lot more fit.
Well, times were a little bit scarce after Jabba died.
Yeah, so. Yeah. I just want to know where they're working out. Bravo to you guys, and I'm excited for this show. Can't wait.
Well, the first thing I thought about is that when Boba and Fennec get attacked in the streets at first, my first thing was, where the hell are the guards?
Yeah, exactly. But I guess you got to build the suspense. Yeah, where they. Turns out, and these guards could have easily have killed Boba by getting him, to and from the Bacta tank or whatever. Boba has to really depend on their loyalty to their two former bosses, right? So I guess it played out for him. But they conveniently came, just as Boba and Fennec were about to lose the fight. Yes.
And I want one of those tanks because, I mean, how good, just overnight and everything heals and you're just good.
Well, another thing, I love the whole Fennec Shand rooftop parkour. I mean, I know how the effects are done on this show, but still, that was still pretty impressive because it looked all real. And I love another unspoken scene where she only has to bring one in alive. She knows this, so she kicks one off the roof because she knows she can't handle two, right?
You thought that was all CG?
No. I know it's CG and practical, and I know, like, in the background, that's all, whatever it is. I know they use a giant, circular parabolic green screen, but I'm just saying, like, it was still pretty impressive because it looked vast, it looked expansive, so bravo. It was pretty seamless.
Well, I think that was a set, that was a built set.
True, but if I'm saying, if you look at, I know if you're looking at, I'm looking at the foreground, but I'm also looking at the background, I'm looking at the camera, sunlight hitting everything. It's still pretty impressive for what they did. No, small set.
Unreal Engine, I tell you, Unreal Engine. Bravo Epic Games.
Okay, so I know you're probably chomping at the bit now to get into some Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai never dies. So we're going to cover episodes 1 to 5 because Greg did not binge it and he liked to spread stuff out. So, but I did watch episodes 4 to 5, and of course.
Okay, let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this: when you got to the end of episode 5, were you not just dying to find out what happened next?
Episode 5. Well, that's the episode called Chicks Get Kicks. We find Tori asks a favor to the LaRussos to basically sign her off to go back to school, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Johnny, well, I love the whole, okay, how did it end specifically? Like, what was the last, I just watched it, but what was the last...
Wasn't it Samantha facing down Tori in the
that totally went the other way. I thought actually Samantha was going to turn the other cheek. So yeah, that kind of shocked me because it was again another misdirect because she went to see I forget the name of the girl, the African American girl who we haven't seen since season 2, who inexplicably got rid.
They moved away.
You know what? I went up to my bully and told her I liked her shoes. So I actually thought Samantha was going to do that to a Peyton List's character.
No, but she struck first, as in.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking she was going to strike first with kindness. Boy, was I wrong. Okay.
Yeah. No.
So,
no.
But this whole thing is about reversal, right? So now I can see this in the next. Again, don't say anything, but I can see, Tori's going to come out like the level-headed one. Samantha's not. We see a recreation of LaRusso getting bullied with the young African-American actor who I think...
Kenny.
Who I guess... why am I have a problem remembering everyone's name? Johnny's son, and when he was in juvie, so he's the brother of the guy that...
Lots of twists.
Yeah, it's everything. And of course... Terry Silver, the big bad, is coming back, and apparently, according to the showrunner, they've been talking about Terry Silver coming back since season 1. Like that was always on the table.
Well, I mean, let's start from the get go of they're trying to. It's all a matter of everybody's trying to prove their way is right, and they can't see past the combining of everything. Only Sam so far seems to understand combining the two. Well, actually, no.
I think Johnny Lawrence was open to Miyagi-Do.
But he got fed up.
No, but it was Daniel LaRusso that was like, no, it's Miyagi-Do. That's the only way. He's refusing to compromise.
Yeah, but even Johnny's son. What's his name?
Is it Bobby in the show? Bobby? No. God darn it! Why am I so bad with names lately?
I don't know.
But at any rate, I was more intrigued if Thomas Ian Griffith can really play piano, and I went in a deep dive. There's one video on YouTube of him playing. It's his own video, but he's showing just his face and he's looking down. Because if he does play, then that was a very bad camera angle. They just showed the back of him. That could have been anyone in a wig. If an actor does play piano, you want to show the face and the hands in the same shot.
Yeah.
So I was more intrigued. Like I focused on that too much. Is that him really playing?
No,
we all know he has a black belt in Kempo karate and Taekwondo. I mean, we all know that. That's a given. He's definitely well versed.
Like I was getting back to, the only people that are actually recognizing taking the two styles and making it their own were Samantha and Robbie. It was Robbie.
Robbie, yeah, that's it. Bobby, damn it. Okay.
Close.
Yeah.
So, and it's only those two that kind of get it, and you're looking for them to try, because I mean, each one of them tried each other's style, right? Johnny got kind of fed up with all the quiet and
actually that scene, like that recreated that they used the same music they did when Daniel-san was doing the movements on the boat, right?
Yeah.
So they were using that for Johnny at Miyagi-Do. So I thought that was kind of cool, right? Like,
the
scene you thought would never happen.
Were fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of like that. So he looked like
and even with Daniel going through and punching the baseballs as they're coming at him, and push-ups on the knuckles and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, and the whole Rocky 3 references.
Oh yeah. No, like I said, this so far this season is all about looking at things through different eyes.
Yeah, even and I like how they, the writers said, the plot line of Karate 3 was kind of effed up, and even they had Thomas Ian Griffith, Terry Silver say it. He goes, the guy was already a toxic waste dump millionaire, so why was I terrorizing a teenager for a karate tournament? He goes, so they put in the cocaine story, which I read an article because the writers are like, what this 1989 movie, I don't know how does this. He goes, as writers now, when we loved it when we were kids, but now we're writers, we're thinking, we gotta make a reason here why he did this. So they threw in cocaine, which just would explain everyone's bad behavior, because he was lurking behind walls and cackling, and so I like how they kind of cleaned up that storyline a little bit.
Yeah, and like I said, everybody, it's role reversals, and again, this show is beautifully stating there's no true good and there's no true bad. There's lots of shades of gray, because we see that with Daniel's son, who becomes the bully.
Yes, and again, a growth spurt of his own, right? Just like in season 3 of Lost in Space, they had to even say it, because even I was like, "Holy crap!" Like,
yeah, and you saw Kenny's character evolve into something toxic, right?
Yeah,
where he was the good kid, he's dancing, he's playing video games, and because of the bullying, it drives him somewhere. I mean, Robbie tried to train him and tried to show him.
Oh, be careful! You don't spoil anything for me. We're just doing 1 to 5. Okay. And like you said, it ended with Sam and Tori in high school. So
we didn't get to him training yet.
No, he's with Cobra Kai, but again, I know his storyline's going to continue in 5 to 10, but
no. But what I'm saying is, like, he's being driven to the people that will teach him horribly how to be, versus like going somewhere to build himself up and be a good person yet still be strong. He's going to the toxic people.
Oh, I loved Johnny Lawrence. This guy's knocking out of the park. I love when he goes to the track or the field of the high school trying to get young girls. I'm like, oh God, they're not going to do this. Of course, everything he says can be construed the other way. Like, oh my God, it's in an abandoned factory, and we meet there.
What do you say? I gotta be. I'm going to be awake. God. No, woke.
Oh yeah, woke. I'm asexual. Great, he's asexual too. Oh my God, everything.
Rubbing him down with oil.
Yes, then that whole woke sentences that he memorized, and then Miguel's like, "That's great," like, oh my God.
He had no idea what he was saying.
Yeah. Okay. But they put him in the most uncomfortable, instances, especially that. Like, it was making your skin crawl. Like, I can't believe they're doing this. Yep, they did it. Okay.
No, you know what? Like I said, I think with everything there's so much. There's so much good and bad. You don't know who to root for. Even you see Tori is as a victim versus Sam being the victim of Tori. You know what I mean? Like, you see Sam being the bitch, and Tori's just trying to get through. And you see Sam's mom relating more to Tori than to
as we find out, episode 5, Sam's mom kind of stretched the truth there, Amanda LaRusso, about her arrest. She was actually going after the woman cheating, on her mother with her dad, and she took a baseball bat and was trying to get the baseball
Nobody's
bat
perfect.
to
I think that should be the episode. That should be the season's overarching. Nobody's perfect.
She already cost Tori one of her jobs, so she feels doubly bad,
And she tries to do the right thing, and ends up backfiring. That kind of.
Yeah.
But I watched the entire thing because I couldn't stop.
I'm gonna get you off now before you start ruining anything, and we're gonna cover.
No. I'm not gonna ruin anything.
Being the Ricardos on Amazon Prime. Here.
Lucy, I'm home.
Okay, yeah. So this was based on a week. Well, Walter Winchell, of course, is kind of crazy to think about it, but everyone listened to radio back then, and Walter Winchell was like, I don't know, Anderson Cooper times a million of his days, or whatever he said people believed. He didn't call out Lucille Ball in particular, but he said someone's been accused of un-American activities, because there was a whole McCarthy witch hunt going on, and of course, this went from table read to, shooting on Friday, so it was a pretty interesting. I knew a little bit about what happened, and of course, I don't know if you know, Nicole Kidman was a last-second replacement. I think it was Cate Blanchett that originally had the role that had to drop out, so she wasn't figured too much in the promotion early on. But, written and directed by Aaron Sorkin, who, of course, knows what he's doing, in terms of writing. Well, first of all, did you like the movie? I did.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I used to love I Love Lucy way back in the day.
You watched it? I didn't watch it. I knew of it, of course, but I didn't.
No, I used to watch it. I used to watch that, the Honeymooners, mostly because like my parents used to watch it, right? So,
okay,
I was very much involved in that. I thought Nicole Kidman's performance was fantastic. Not only did you get to see like that comedic aspect of Lucy, but you also got to see the ballsy aspect of Lucy too. Because
she was a perfectionist, right?
She was a perfectionist, but she was also that tough. Not just as a perfectionist to make sure that thing, but she took no guff from anybody, right? And and at a certain point, it's like, I'm Lucille Ball, I know comedy, But I have to say, my favorite line in the whole movie: "Don't fuck with the Cuban."
Yeah. Hope that memo was true.
Oh man, I busted a gut laughing when I read this, because there was so much build up to it, right? And then you get that, and I just lost it. I lost it.
Yeah, they were worried about this, which was her second pregnancy. Like, he played with the timeline a bit, Aaron Sorkin, but
yes,
it turned out the thing they were most afraid of became one of the most watched moments in television history. Like, 53 million or more, like, at the time, watched the birth of Ricardo Jr. or whatever. Like, This was a massive moment in television history. So everyone was wrong and they were right.
Well, you know what? Leave creatives to the creatives.
Yeah.
No, like you said. It started with the original premise of Lucy is a communist. That's where all this thing came out, and we find out why she was
to appease her socialist grandfather who raised her, so she wanted to be a good girl.
It was a sign of respect.
Yeah,
it had nothing to do with politics. It had everything to do with how she felt about her.
Yeah, she never attended
her
a meeting.
grandfather.
She never did anything. Never promoted it.
No. And back then that was the hanging offense, right? That was a serious thing. So, you had that art, but they had so many. Sorkin's great at just having so many layers on the cake. Then you get into the interpersonal relationship between Lucy and Ricky, or Desi, right? Yeah. It's all about their marital problems. Like I say, they're either tearing each other's heads off or tearing each other's clothes off.
Yeah, and she, goes the whole movie trying to find out, like a detective, if he really is cheating on her or not.
Yeah.
And of course, we find out at the end he was.
and then you had that other layer of them dealing with her pregnancy, how to make this episode work, and so on and so forth. So you see all of these things happening simultaneously, and they're juggling it so well. And hats off to the cast. J.K. Simmons, the guy that played the producer, the writers, everybody just kind of like...
Yeah, we've got some Phil Coulson in there.
Phil Coulson with hair.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, my favorite line, I don't even know if it was he reworded it, but what actually happened when Desi addressed the studio audience, he said, the only thing read about Lucy is her hair, and even that's not legitimate. Now, that's hysterical, because she wasn't a true redhead, everyone knows. She dyed her hair.
Yeah.
And, of course, the thing that I wished was true wasn't when the person on the phone comes in, that was not... J. Edgar Hoover never called in, but I was so hoping that was true, because I'm fascinated by everything Hoover, and I thought I knew everything, so I was hoping this was one thing I didn't know about. But no, it's not true. It never happened. But
no, but that was a nice touch, though. To have, even though it wasn't true, but the thought of having J. Edgar Hoover, the head of the FBI, call up.
It wasn't him. Yeah, everyone knows it wasn't the president, the most powerful in the world. It was J. Edgar Hoover. He knew where all the bodies were buried. He had all the secrets. So when he spoke, you didn't question anything.
Exactly. So, for me, I got a lump in my throat during that scene because everything kind of worked out and it was great, And then at the end is when she pulls the lipstick on him. But did you see, like, she stayed with him until the show died, and then she divorced him.
Yeah, well, I think after that episode ended, she started, right? I mean, I think that's what they wrote, right? Like, she started.
No, they stayed together till 1960 because I don't think that was 1960. They were in. They stayed together until 1960 when the last episode aired. The day after she filed for divorce.
Yeah, the day after. Okay.
So she stayed with him, even though there was cheating and all that sort of stuff, for the show, because she knew she was a star. She knew this was her bread and butter. She knew this was everything. She did her job, and once it was done, boom, that's it. Cut all ties.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, it was beautifully written because, I mean, it's Sorkin, right? Few Good Men, The Social Network, you name it. West Wing. It's all great writing. Okay? Yep. And this was he directed this too, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Wrote it, directed it, yeah.
So, I mean, for me, I'm looking at everything that they did. I'm looking at how they portrayed everybody. I mean, Desi Arnaz, they portrayed him. He was badass, and the portrayal of him was fantastic. I mean, this guy did such a great job.
Yeah, I liked Javier Bardem. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with the singing and the music and everything, and making sure everybody knew he was in charge. Right?
Well, that was an aspect of the movie. What the neighbor told her, he goes, I don't know if anyone really knows he is in charge, but does anyone know it? Because Lucille Ball was coming off as making all the decisions. So I think.
Well, that was I think it was the beauty of J.K. Simmons' character, was that he was the veteran, right?
Yeah. Well, and I also liked how the producers were like, no one's ever going to believe that, he married because when she initially wanted her husband, no one's going to ever believe you marries a Cuban. And she's like, my husband fought in World War II. He is American. I like that whole, because that was unheard of at the time in that golden age of television. You were a white woman didn't marry, a Latino guy, right? And go on TV. So.
Well, absolutely. And like I said, it just goes to show the strength of who Lucille Ball was. Because I think they got that right. That they didn't embellish any of that. That was, no, this is what's going to happen. You want me, this is what's going to happen. And everything just kind of like all fell into place. And again, like you said, Lucy was a perfectionist, and even in how everyone else was portrayed. Like, for example, Nina Aranda, who played Vivian Vance, having the writer bring her some extra breakfast to bulk her up a little bit because she's looking too good.
Well, yeah, that was Lucy being petty and jealous because she was losing weight and she looked great in that red dress, but there was no way, but that's true even as today's actors with their egos, like you're the star of the show, you're not going to have some underling below you like outperform you. So that's always been the case, and we'll continue on.
But I mean, you saw how she was. Like, average America doesn't look like you do now. You know, like they got to relate to you. If you look too good, then they can't relate to you.
Yeah, which is really mean. Is I'm top banana. You should be looking better than me.
Oh, he brings them like what does she bring him, like pancakes and bacon?
Yeah,
little bit of fruit.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Overall, I gave it a thumbs up for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, it was. it was, you know what? It was a movie that I didn't see coming. Like I saw it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm thinking about Lucille Ball and all that, but I didn't think I would enjoy it this much. It was just really, really well done, really, really interesting. It kept you wanting to see the next scene, and I think they played the highs and lows so beautifully well. So yeah, big thumbs up for me too.
Yes, sir. Agreed. That's all I got, sir.
Well, I mean, we have a little bit of sad news.
Yes,
the passing of Betty White.
Yeah, just a few days before her 100th birthday.
Right before, couldn't cross the line. Like we're right before the new year. But I gotta say, I'm not sad in a sense of we lost somebody that was purely adorable, that she lived the life that she lived, and I'm happy she got to do that for as long as she did, and she was vibrant throughout her whole time. And I mean, pretty much everybody watched her entire life, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe it's only like 10 years ago she hosted Saturday Night Live, for God's sakes.
I know. So, I think while we did lose somebody endearing, she earned her time. She lived her full life, and it was great to have seen that throughout my life. So, salute to you, Betty White. You were great, and I'm glad you got to have that great life.
Hear, hear.
And yeah, that's it. I don't think we have any news.
No, nothing really. It was kind of a slow week news-wise, entertainment-wise. Nothing really happened, but sure that could change next week.
Cobra Kai showed up in Fortnite.
Yes, it did, and we know you bought the bundle. Okay.
For those of you that follow us for our video game prowess, right?
Yeah, well, prowess is the right word, but whatever. For our prowess at buying stuff in the Fortnite skin locker, we're contributing to Epic Games' bottom line. That is for sure. So
we should get official training in Unreal Engine for the amount of stuff that we bought.
Remind you that Fortnite is a game that you play for free, and you play it free as long as you want. But there are cosmetic items to purchase. Obviously, that's how Epic Games makes their money. And yeah, I'd say in the last 3.5 years, they got a fair share off of me, which is something I swore I would never do. So hey, whatever. I'm not spending it on drugs, so whatever.
We should have shares in the Mandalorian.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Or Disney and all its subsidiaries. Yes.
Oh, okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Can you imagine going, knowing back then what we know now, buying shares in Disney.
Well, I would have bought shares in Zoom had I known the pandemic was coming, but only those, elite people in Washington knew the pandemic was bought in. And of course, there's insider trading is allowed in Washington. So yeah, they all bought millions of shares in Zoom, and of course, became even more rich overnight. But hey, hindsight, right?
Pretty much.
So you want to wrap her up before?
Yes, sir.
Our next, and of course, our next episode will be the 1-year anniversary of Butcher Bay Rejects, if you're keeping track. So I want to thank all of you who stuck with us, and
we will have cake.
Yeah, virtual cake or whatnot. We will have something.
A candle will be lit.
Yes, yeah. Do something small but meaningful.
But meaningful, of course. Absolutely. We'll put something on our Facebook page.
Yes. Mark will come up with some snazzy video for you.
There you go. Well, gang, you can find us on our social media. You can find us on YouTube, where you can see our animated version of us being silly. Search Butcher Bay Rejects. You can find us on Twitter at Bay Rejects. You can find us on Facebook at Butcher Bay Rejects. And our website, butcherbayrejects.com. We're also on all your favorite podcast platforms. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Alexa TuneIn, Amazon Music, Pandora, and iHeartRadio. This has been Butcher Bay Rejects. I am Mark.
I'm Greg. See you next week, nerds.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.